Welcome to today's video. The channel is new first of all, so the only way I'm going to know that the content is good and you guys are liking it is you actually have to like it, share, subscribe to the channel, and help me grow, and then I'll continue to push out videos of substance and stuff that you can relate to or stuff that'll be beneficial to you. So the job I'm going to do is replace the input shaft, the main seal on the back of the transmission that the drive shaft is attached to. In the process, I'm going to do that, but the main objective is to replace the selector shaft seal. That's where I have a leak, but since I'm back there and I actually thought it was the other way around, I bought that seal first, the input shaft, and then I realized that's not actually leaking. Selector shaft seal, that's the one that's leaking. But again, I'm already there, already bought the seal, and I'm just gonna replace both of them. Also guys, it's super hot in the mechanic shop where I was working on the car, and they have these big old fans. They're pretty loud, so you're gonna pick that up in the video quite a bit. I try to lower the volume and put some music in between, so it's not just a 10-minute video of background noise coming from these fans. But hopefully it's not too horrible, and you can just stick it out with me for 10 minutes through this video. So let's go. What's up guys, I'm underneath the Supra. On the back of the gearbox there's a slight leak. You can see right there all the oil that is leaking that I was telling you about, and you can see right here it's a lot. I'm gonna address that as well and replace it with this seal. I have to remove the 4 bolts that holds the drive shaft yoke to the transmission yoke. Then you have to come and remove the center hub, 2 bolts that holds those in place, and then there's a little bracket that goes from left to right. It's right here. I removed that. I want to remove the exhaust because it's like OEM bolts, and I know for sure if I try to remove these, I'm gonna have a bad day. And then I'll just drop the brackets right here, take the motor mount off, and then remove the spline from in the back of the gearbox. As it turns out, the oil seal behind here is not leaking. It's too dry. It doesn't make sense. This shaft right here goes into the gearbox, and that's how it selects the gear. It's either pushing or pulling. Right around the base of it, as it goes into the gearbox, there's a seal. And I can visibly see that when I try to move it, see how it's like coming separated, and there's like little oil trying to come out. See that? So that's telling me that's where my leak is. And I wiped my finger. There was a bunch of oil that came off on my finger, so I cleaned it, but I'm now confident that's where my leak is coming from. Boom. So now I can remove that nut, take this off, and then I'll have more access to this right here. Because there's a pin in there that I can't really get to, especially because the exhaust is still here. So I'm working with very tight space. So this piece is attached to the piece that stays in the gearbox up here. As you can see, there's a hole in it. This pin has to be pushed from the bottom straight up through the top, and then once you pull the pin out, then you can release this piece.
So all I'm gonna do is get a little pick like this. I'm gonna go ahead and pick this seal out, the one up here around this shaft right here. Then I'm gonna do the same, remove this one. I'm gonna set this up to install it. So first, what I'm gonna do is grab this gasket seal. Right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put it on the outside. So when I put the seal in the tranny, it kind of helps to lubricate and guide it as I put it in, but at the same time, it'll help create a better seal once it dries up. Then on the internal, right here, where the input shaft will rotate, I'm gonna put some grease. So I'm gonna let that sit while I go pull out the old seal. Both of them are removed. The input shaft seal is removed up top. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the seal for that one as I'm doing with this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab that seal, go ahead and put it in, and then do the top one and get this car back together. As you can see, I got it started with the hammer. Now I'm gonna use this brass, actually, what is this thing? I know it's made of brass, so it's like a soft material on the transmission. But basically, that's what I'm gonna use. Finish putting this all the way in. I wasn't able to find a shorter brass pin. I think it's called a brass pin actually. But I found an old bearing that's already dismantled, right? But the diameter fits perfectly over the oil seal. So I'm just gonna use it. So this is the yoke that goes in the back of the transmission. This one looks pretty good, but there's some slight rust like around this part right here. So I have some 2000 grit sandpaper, and all I'm gonna do is get some of that part cleaner and sand off right here. Just like that, no more rust. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of grease around it. Because remember, this area is gonna be spinning inside that new seal that I just installed. So I'm not gonna wrong with a little bit of lube. Plus, the lube will prevent or at least slow down the rust. Because it's inevitable, that area that I just sanded, it will get rusty again. So when you put this on, there's a little pin. I don't know if you can see it. It's like just shy of an inch long, and it goes all the way through from the top down and goes in here. It goes in there like that. Now it could fall right through because there's an opening at the bottom, as you can see. But what prevents it from falling out is this clamp right here. So this clamp will then go and sit right over here and keep the pin in place. Also, the way the fork, the chair that the shifter sits on, the lever has to be pulled out for the pin to go in. There's like one little spot that you can slide it in. If this lever is pushed in to the gearbox, you won't have space to fit the pin. So
Hey guys, I'm back under the car checking out where I replaced the oil seal, and it's been some days, and as you can see, everything is pretty dry, no leaks anywhere. All the way up there where you see the orange, that's your shifter input shaft. That's the bad boy that was leaking. So as you can see, it's all dry, no signs of leakage, and then we're here. So successful job.